Kogo News Time, 7:12.
Students and you, the parents, of course, have racked up so much college debt since the recession that it's threatening the nation's economic growth, believe it or not. This is weighing down millions of Americans who otherwise would be buying homes or cars or starting businesses.
Joining us on the Kogo News Live line this morning is education finance expert, author of College Prep Genius, Gene Burk. And Gene, first question, why is student debt so out of control?
You know, it's totally out of control. You know, we've seen 600% rise in tuition over the last 25 years. You know, textbooks alone have gone up 800%. I think the problem is that there's so much bureaucracy. Colleges aren't going bankrupt, so people keep paying it. You know, I think if we stopped paying it, it wouldn't go that high, and there's no accountability anywhere. So it's just continuing to climb. And you know, we've got 66% of graduates leaving college with an average of $30,000 debt, and a third of those graduates aren't even working in either full-time or in their degree. So there's definitely a problem.
So if you're a mom and dad or you're in your car right now and you're thinking about sending your kid off to school and you just broke out into a sweat, how do you get your child educated in something that they can actually use and not have them start off life in a financial pit?
Oh, you know, there's so many ways. You know, I've been teaching kids how to get free college for 11 years. I think one of the main things that parents don't realize is not every kid is college material. You know, I love college. I think it's a great thing. But sometimes, you know, kids may need to go to trade school, or they may need to sit out a year or two and get some maturity. I think we need to find out in high school if our kids are ready, you know, by taking some AP courses and some dual credit, maybe even going to the junior college. You know, the number one reason why kids drop out of college is finances, and the number two is the workload, because most of them, you know, they're kind of breezing through high school and barely cracking a book, and they get to college and there's several hours of studying per class per day. So we end up with about 2/3 of kids dropping out of college, and they still have that debt. So I think we need to find out, first of all, if they're even ready to go.
What is the average amount of debt that a student has in college or when they get out of college?
About $30,000 right now we're seeing. I mean, certainly there are people who have a lot more than that, but that's about an average, and that's about 2/3 of the students. So it's pretty steep, and you know, a lot of times it takes about 20 years to pay off college loans, because that interest starts accruing right when you graduate.
20 years. So is there another way besides, let's say you kind of say, all right, trade school's not for me, or sitting out, I just want to keep going. How do you do you get a second job? Do you take a mortgage out on your house? What can you do?
Well, the number one way to get free college is basically, believe it or not, is your test scores. Colleges are very concerned with their rankings. So colleges go up on their rankings based on their test scores. So the higher your SAT score, the more money you get. And the problem is most students don't put the time into studying for these tests. These really are logic tests. They're not IQ tests. Instead of spending, you know, getting a part-time job and making $10 an hour, spend your time working on the SAT. Basically, every question can be answered in 30 seconds or less. So if you get a high score, the colleges are going to roll out that red carpet for you. So that's a big thing. Put your time in on that. There's a lot of other ways. I mean, there are colleges that will give you free college based on your income. There are colleges that will pretty much, you know, roll out that red carpet for you, like I said, just by making them look good. And so I think a couple things that parents do wrong, and they don't know about this, is they make some very common mistakes on their FAFSA. You know, they don't fill it out in time, or they put the wrong information, or they put too much information. And so the bottom line is you have to show need. You know, it's the cost of attendance, you know, minus the estimated family contribution, and that's going to what's going to equal your need.
All right, Gene, thank you so much. Getting your kids into college and hoping that they don't start off underwater is probably one of the biggest concerns of parents today.